Good morning, everybody. This week we're going to be making the Escapa game. So the first thing you got to do is you got to sign in to your account on the top, and then you're going to write over here Escapa. Okay, this is the Escapa game, and you could use the cat if you want, but I'm going to delete the cat. And you're going to add some sprites in here. So I'll use an apple. So I'll go over here and I'll put an apple in. Okay, you put what you want to put in for your sprites. And I'll put banana. And I'll put in a balloon. So I go over here, I search, and balloon. Oh, right here. Okay, so now I got my 3 sprites. And the next thing we have to do is we have to draw a background. And we're going to draw a border. And we're going to make the border a color. And if we're going to program the game that if you touch that color, the game stops. Okay, so we're going to go to backdrops here and draw a backdrop. And there's a few different ways you could do it. You could make a rectangle around with nothing in the middle. Or you could use lines and you could use painting. So if you want to make it simple, just use the paintbrush and you pick a color. I'll pick green. Or you could use a line, whatever you want to do. It's up to you. Okay, so I'm on the paintbrush and I can make it thicker if I want. You see my paintbrush gets bigger. And I just go like this and I draw it down. And I draw across. And I draw up. And like I said, you could use one of the shapes if you want to. Or you could use the line. And now I got a border going around my screen. Okay, so we're going to program the game that if the border is touched, the game's going to be over. Okay, so let's take a look. First thing we're going to do is we're going to click on the apple. And the reason I'm going to click on the apple is the apple's the sprite that I'm going to move in the game. So I click on code. Now we have to code the apple. So let's do this. Events when the flag is clicked. What do we want to do? We want to put the apple at a certain part in the game. Where do you want to put him? I'll put him right over here. Negative 34x and negative 66y. So we can say motion go to. Okay, and they put it in for us there. Okay, so we got that. And the next thing we need to do is we need to create a variable. And we want to make the game that it shows the seconds or the time, how long the game is going, because you're going to make it a challenge that you could stay in the game longer, and whoever stays in the longest wins. So you're going to go to variables and make a variable. So go to variables, make a variable, and you're going to call it time. Okay? Okay? So now you have time on the top here. Okay? And then you're going to do set, right? You're going to set your what? Set your time. Set your time to 0. This means when you start the game, put time at 0. Okay, now if you want to take the time off, you go like this and it disappears, and you check it, it goes back on. So set time to 0, and now we have to make a timer. Okay, so here's how we're going to make a timer. We're going to do repeat, control, repeat, forever, a forever loop, and we're going to say this, wait, control, wait, right over here, so forever loop, wait, and we're going to make this 0.1 second. 0.1, because we want to give it an exact time more than just 1 second. So wait 1 second, and then what? Variables change what? Change my time. Time by what? 0.1. Okay? So now we have, it's going to wait, and then it's going to change the time by 0.1. Okay, so it's going to wait a little bit, then change this. So this is how we make a timer in our game. If you wanted to, you could make this 1 second and make this 1 second, but then you will get it only like a 3 or a 4. We're trying to get like 3.5, 3.6. Okay, so we got that. Next thing we have to do is we have to control the apple that you can move up and down. So we're going to go to events, and we're going to take the when spacebar clicked, and we're going to make this when the up arrow is pressed. And then we're going to go like this. And we'll say when the down arrow is pressed. See, we're making a game here. Okay, so when the up arrow is pressed, when the down arrow is pressed, and we'll move this over so you can see. And then we have to do when the left up, when the left is clicked, and when the right is clicked. Okay, and then the right. So what do you want to do when these things happen? What do you want to happen when the up arrow is pressed? We'll go to motion. You want to change the Y when the up is pressed. So change. Some people make mistakes and they use set. Don't use set, use change. So we're going to change Y by 10 when the up arrow is pressed. Okay, so now when I press the up arrow, see the apple goes up because Y is up and down and X is left and right. What do you want to do when the down arrow is pressed? Up, down arrow is Y. change the y by what? -10. Okay? So now when I press the up arrow, he goes up, down arrow, he goes down. Now you can understand what's going to do with the left and right, right? So when you're doing the left arrows, let's do the right first. When the right arrow's pressed, change the x by 10. Because remember, y is up and down, x is left and right. So I click the right arrow there, he goes to the right. And the left is a -x. So change by -10. Okay, so now we got our game set up, -10. So now I can go up, I can go down, I can go left and right. Okay, so that's our control for the game. Next thing we have to do is we have to set the game that if he touches the green, the game stops. Okay, so let's do it. We're going to do events when clicked. Okay, what do we want to happen when clicked? Well, we're going to make it in a forever loop because we don't want this to happen one time. We want this to always happen every time we're playing the game. So we have a forever loop. And if-then conditional. So if-then conditional, what do we want to happen if it's touching the green? Okay, well, let's go to sensing. So we say if touching color, and you see how I dragged this color in? I went to the sensing down here. So we have motion and we have sensing. Sensing is light blue. So if touching color, okay? Now we don't want purple. And here's a part that gets a little tricky. You have to pick this exact color. So if touching, you go like down here like this, okay? So I click, I'll show you again. I click on the color and I get it right like this. And this means select color. Select color and I get it exactly. Don't put it like this. Put it exactly on the green. If touching that green, what do you want to happen? I'm going to go to control. I'm going to stop all. So it means if touching this, stop the game. Okay, so when I click the flag, the timer will go and I'll be able to move our little character here. But if he goes to the green, the game will stop. So we have that so far. Now what else do we want to do? We want to say if he's touching the balloon or the banana, the game is going to stop too. Because this is going to be a boring game if it just ends here. If you're touching the green, you want to make it more interactive. So we also stop the game if he is going against the balloon or the banana. So same thing. If then, and then we go to sensing. If touching, and now it says mouse pointer, but we'll change that. So if touching banana. What do you want to happen if you're touching the banana? Control, stop the game. Okay? So if touching the banana, the conditional. Here's the condition. If you touch the banana, stop the game. Stop all. Now the next one, if then. Now notice I don't put it inside. I've got to put it right like this. I don't put it out here. I put it right underneath. Okay? So sometimes kids get confused by this. Put it like a puzzle. If then, stop all. If then, stop all. If then, stop all. Let me move this down so the kids can see this one too. And what do we have to say? Oh, let me see if I can move this down. Okay. That way everybody can see. If touching the balloons. So sensing. If touching balloon. Okay, what are you going to do if it's touching the balloon? Control, stop all. Okay, so this is not the end of the game, but let's just take a look. So now when I start the game, he's down here. Oh, I gotta start him down here. Let me start him a little lower. Let me start him -80. Okay. So now when he starts the game, he can move, and the timer's going, and then if he touches the green, it stops the game. See? And now we do this. If we go up, see the timer's going here. If he goes up and he touches the balloon, it stops the game. Okay, so this game we're going to make it that the timer is how you get a higher score. So the person who can get the highest time, they got the most points. So now we have to set up the game with the balloon and the banana. Let's do the banana first. So where do we want the banana to be? We're going to say events, when clicked, when we start our game, let's put the banana up here. Now some kids, they want to make the game easier. You put the size at 80 or 70 to make it small. That will make the game a little easier. So when clicked, motion, go to, where do we want him to go to? -158, see it tells us down here, -158.95. So we want him to go there. And then what do we want him to do? We don't want to start him right away. Maybe we'll wait 1 second. Okay, we'll wait 1 second, excuse me. And then what we want him to do is we want him to go to different places. So we're going to say forever loop. We want him to forever go to different places. So let's have this. Let's have motion and glide. And you could have him glide to a random position like this if you want. That's something you can do. Or what you can do is you can say glide to, and let's have him glide over to this side, and that's going to be 145, 117. So 145, 117. You see I get that from over here. Okay, so I want him to glide in. You could change the time. You can make this 2 seconds, 3 seconds, half a second. Then let's have him go to the next one. Let's have him glide 1 second. And where do we want him to go next? Maybe we want him to go down here. Okay, we want him to go down here. X168, negative 100, or 9. 8, negative 109. Okay, now where do I want him to go after that? Maybe I want him to go to this part. Right? And that's going to be what? 169, 112. So I'll say glide. And you could change the numbers here again if you want. And glide to 169, 112. So now when I click that, he's going to glide here over 1 second. He glides here over 1 second. Then he glides up over 1 second. Okay, so we got that. Now what you can do is you can take all of this code here from the banana and drag it to the balloon. Okay, I see I drag it to the balloon. Now the balloon has the same code, but I want to change the balloon a little bit. Okay, so here's what I'll do with the balloon. I'll put the balloon that he starts down here, and let's make the balloon small. So I go to size, let's make it 50. Make it 50. Now it's a little smaller, that makes the game easier. And where do we want to start him? Let's put X136, because we don't want it to be exactly the same, we want it to be a little different. And negative 105, negative 105. Oh, sorry about that. And here's what you could do. You could take this out here, and you could also do something like this. Glide 1 second to random position. Okay, or maybe make it 2 seconds. It's up to you. Okay, so now he's going randomly. You see, you don't know where he's going to go. That makes the game tricky. Okay, so let's look at our code, then we'll play the game. So when you click the flag, the apple goes down here. This time goes to 0, and the timer is going to change. You're going to wait a little bit and then change it. Okay, the left arrow is pressed, you move to the left. Right, you move to right. Up arrow is pressed, you move up. Down arrow is pressed, you move down. If you're touching the green, you stop the game. If you're touching the banana, you stop the game. If you touch the balloon, you stop the game. And the banana, when it's clicked, he's going to go down here, and he's going to wait 1 second, and then he's going to move to the various positions on the board. And the balloon, he's going to start over here. He waits 1 second, and then we put this as 2 seconds. He's going to go to a random. So let's play the game. I click the flag. Now I go over here. Now they're moving, and they're trying to get me. Oh. Okay. And if I get this, it stops the game. This is 4.7 seconds. So you could make your game harder or easier. Here's how you make it harder. Okay, it's up to you. You could make this 0.5. Okay, so it'll be a little harder. And the banana, you could make this 0.5, right? You could make these, or even 0.1. Okay, it's up to you. Now it's going to be really quick. Let's try that. So now when the game goes, now they're going, oh. Okay, so now it's a little trickier. So it's up to you however you want to do your game. And you could use, like I said, you could use go to random, and you could change the number. You could also change the wait time. You could change the location. The other thing you could do is you could start the game that the balloon and the banana are closer to the apple. You could do that if you want. And you could program this that they're going through the center or going around. So when you're done with your game, please take a photo of the code for each sprite. And please put that in Google Classroom as a photo so I could see it. And also please remember to save your work that it saves in your account. Okay? And if you need any help, please send me a message on Google Classroom, or you can email me as well. But the code here, if you get this code in, and I'll put this a little bit zoomed out so you can see everything. If you follow this code, you should have a good blueprint for the game. I'll put this so everybody can see it. And then, like I said, you can use variations of this. So change the X, change the Y, and change some of the numbers over here if you'd like. And for this one, you could use random. And you also could change your sprites as well if you would like. And remember, again, to do save now at the end, and file, save now as well.